Despite of having several years of experience trading PCs online, I fell prey to a scammer last week. Generally, I'm very good in spotting scams, regardless of the fact I'm selling or buying. But this one was my sheer blunder. I'll speak about this in this video, and generally the checklist that people should always care regardless of whatever happens. So let's get into it. One of the basic tests that we should have is to look at the thing whether it is too good to be true. This applies to online shopping as well as the local market shopping. But in my particular case, when I look at this in hindsight, the guy was selling me a GTX 1050 Ti, and the price he was asking was very reasonable for a used card. When we negotiated this, he was very aggressively defending his price. In the end, he gave me a very small discount, and for me, in my opinion and experience, it was a very fair price for a used card. I was not lowballing him, it was not too low offer, it was just at the market price, a couple of dollars you can say less. So this was not a red flag to begin with. Now where I messed up was the remaining of the red flags. So for example, I asked him to send me more photos about the graphics card he's selling, and there he said he cannot send them because his mobile is broken. More about this in later rest of the video, but eventually he said he cannot send it. I can come to his home, inspect the card physically and do the deal. So it was kind of okay to accept such excuse, right? And you're going there for a physical inspection, so it's something acceptable. One other thing that I'm always care about, whether I'm buying or selling, I always scan the profile of the person. It helps me to see the people, that what kind of a person I'm dealing with. If I'm selling and if I find certain tweets and shares and somehow I get a shadow of the person as if he's going to be a troublemaker, I tend to limit my exposure on warranties. In some cases, normally I give 1 month warranty or more, even on the used items. But when I find a person or I feel the person will be a troublemaker, then I try to limit my exposure. I tell them, guys, you can have 3 days warranty, for example, or you can test it on the spot. If it is working, pay me, and that's what we are done. No more warranties. So it depends. It's pretty much of my experience-based judgment. But when it comes to the buying side, and if I find the profile is new or the person is new in the market, then I'm always full on my guards. I do testing on the spot, and I don't pay them until I'm satisfied with the performance of the device I'm buying. In this case, this guy had a new profile on the common website that is used as a buying selling platform in my country. It was a new profile. It's my mistake. I was in a hurry as well. And then he gave me his Facebook, which was also new. It did not have any contacts at all, just a few random shares. So these two things in combination were red flags. But at the back of my mind was that I'm going to his place, I will do a physical inspection, and then I will decide on the spot. So again, I ignored this. Now there's one other thing that happened during the transaction. When I asked him his mobile number, he said he cannot share because his mobile is broken, it's not working, and he don't have money to buy a new mobile, so he cannot initiate his SIM, he cannot use WhatsApp, so he excused from giving me the mobile number. This was, I would say, the big red flag for me already. When I can combine all the factors, he is refusing me to send the photos, he is refusing to, basically his profiles are useless, and he's refusing to send me the mobile number. Now people can always block you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and all that. They can also block you on the mobiles, like they can use a software to block your number, and you will keep calling them, they will not respond. So it was, I would say, I should have stopped there. But again, as I said, I had a couple of things going on with me. I had this feeling that I'll go to his home, inspect the hardware, then I can decide. Second thing, I had a couple of decent PC builds ready for sale, but I cannot sell them as a gaming PC. I cannot even sell them as a budget PC because I don't have GPUs. And the prices of new cards are expensive. It would exceed my budget, and then it becomes difficult for me to sell as in the budget category. And then the third thing was I was having tough time at my full-time job. I was busy in meeting deadlines. I was not sleeping properly. So it was all in all, it was not a good situation to buy a GPU in a hurry. Now, the other thing that he played with me was to exploit the human sympathy. He was like telling me he don't have money, he's broken, he lost his job, now he lost his mobile, he's in a bad situation, he would not sell his 1050 Ti, he loves it, he plays game, but he's only selling it because he need to have a mobile and then he can get on with his life. At least he can try to find a job. All those kind of stories that you can imagine. That's my bad. I believed him as a fellow human. And then one other red flag, which I would say should be a clear red flag regardless of all other factors, was that since the day I promised him I'm coming to pick up the card in 2 days, because he lived a bit far from my place. It was about 40 kilometers drive, so coming and going it was about 80 kilometers. So I told him that I might come in 2 days, and as soon as I promised him, he came back, okay, I'm deleting the ad, I trust you, I'm taking your words as a promise, and I'm deleting my ad, I'm just waiting for you. And then since then he was every day, he was send me 10 messages when I am coming, why I'm not able to come and all that. This should have been a red flag to abandon the transaction. And by the way, I did feel abandoning the transaction, that why this guy is in a hurry. When I said, okay, fine, it's a bad, tough situation, people have lost their job due to COVID, so let's give a guy a chance. Eventually I'm going to his home, so it should be a good deal in the end. Now, the fun began when I reached his spot. First of all, he was standing outside a house, and he said he has a family inside. It's a small house. Due to privacy, he cannot allow me to enter. When I had a first look on my card, my instinct were like, don't do this deal, because that card by no means looked like 1050 Ti. For one, for example, it had a VGA slot. 1050 Ti, when I recall, it never came with a VGA port. It only came with DVI or HDMI. And I told this to him, it doesn't look like 1050. He said, no, I have a carton, but I lost it. You see my house, go take the card, go to your home, test it, and if you feel is not good, you can come back to my place, throw the card in my face, and take your money straight away. So for me, I was fine. I still felt like not doing the deal, but again, I don't know why I chose to ignore this factor. And the other big red flag that should have made me to stop the deal was the labels at the back of the graphics card. Those labels were wiped off. The sticker there was removed. And again, I asked him, he said he imported this from US or something, and then that's what it is, card is working fine, believe me, and again, bring it back if you are not satisfied after buying it. Eventually, I made the biggest mistake, the first one ever in my life, that I trusted him, came back home. As soon as I popped in the card in my system, the GPU fan was running at 100% speed. It happens. It happens when you install the card like for a few seconds, but this one was going forever. It was a clear sign that the card is dead. And then I installed the card in other system, and using my tools I was able to access the card. It was not giving any display, by the way, but I was able to read the BIOS. The card turned out to be 750 Ti. It was not 1050, and even it was not working. It was dead. I tried to flash a couple of BIOS that I had for the same card from the same vendor, but unfortunately none worked. I tried to approach him on the websites. He blocked me immediately on those sites. Unfortunately, I did not have a phone number, so I went back to his place, and to my surprise, the house was not his house. He was just standing there for me to come because he knew I'm coming, and then this happened. I don't feel bad because I lost money. It's business. Scanning and trying to scout for used parts in good condition at good price is part of my job. I love doing it. I meet a lot of wonderful people in doing so, but I felt bad because I got scammed at the end of the day, and there were clear signs of red flags, at least 6 of them, that I chose to ignore, beginning from the photos he refused to send, then his profiles were shady, he refused to share his mobile number, And in the end, my takeaway from this experience that I will never forget, that we have to keep a red line to separate the charity, helping others as a charity, and doing a business. We cannot and we should not mix both together. Either we are doing charity or we are doing business. So when we are doing business, even if a person is dying, he is losing a job, no matter what, we should not listen to his stories, his business at the end of the day. I hope this video helps, and I wish you safety from COVID and scammers in these tough times. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.